Hello everyone, it's time for our happy ending of the week. We are the Gay Gods of Gaming, and today we'd like to talk to you about our favourite gaming universe.
Where do gods take vacation?
Exactly. Games give us an opportunity to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new experiences in places that don't really exist and that we can never visit for real, sadly. And we want to tell you about a couple of the worlds that have really captured our imaginations. So, Corey, let's start with you. What is your favorite
We're starting with you.
gaming
What are
world?
you talking about?
Why?
Because I said so before we started recording.
Because you
Now
said so?
Yes.
I just do everything that you tell me to?
Absolutely. I know that's what you enjoy.
Okay,
See, I win. I always win.
he wins. Just be more firm next time. I like it when you're firm.
I'm not trying to turn you on, James. I'm just trying to get you to
But
do
you
what I
always
want.
do, regardless.
It's a curse.
My favourite
It's a terrible
game
curse.
world is the Planescape universe, which Planescape Torment is set in. Now, if you haven't played Planescape Torment, go and play Planescape Torment. You can get it online for a very, very cheap price. It was a BioWare Infinity Engine role-playing game, so the same sort of engine that powered Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2 and a bunch of the classic role-playing games for PC. But Planescape Torment was set in a different world to the Dungeons & Dragons game, the Planescape universe, which is a series of planes connected by a bunch of portals. And there were two things great about that. The first thing is, it could go anywhere, any place, any time at a drop of a hat. You could be in a world which is filled with strange guilds that all explore different parts of being a person. Or you can go in a world that's basically like hell. Or you can go in a world that's more futuristic. Or there's one just maze world, which is one big labyrinth. So
Now
it's
you're just cheating.
It's a setting which enables a lot of creativity in the sort of experiences that you can have. But the best thing about this world was the way that in the planes, thought, ideas can actually shape reality. And the game played with that in a way that was way ahead of its time, and still, I think, unparalleled.
You
by
just
any
want to
game of its
dream
sort.
yourself up a boyfriend. That's all
Am
you
I
want.
that transparent?
You are beyond transparent. You have an albedo. It's negative. It's negative.
I have a negative albedo?
Yeah, it was a science joke. It's not possible.
I don't understand.
It's okay.
Anyway, so in this world, your actions actually shape the structure of the world and the characters in it. For instance, one of my favourite little examples is that people are constantly asking the player character their name. You at the start of your game don't actually know what your name is, but you can give a false name, and if you give that false name repeatedly throughout the storyline, all the way through the game, towards the end of the game, you will actually meet a version of you who has that name. Because you've brought it into existence through creating it in the minds of the people that you've been speaking to. And there's a number of points in the game where you are able to alter the setting by the way you interact with the setting. And that was exhilarating and intoxicating. I guess the other thing that I really love about this setting is how deep it goes into its own lore.
Well, this is just like any intellectual's wet dream.
Oh,
a place
it
where your
is.
thoughts have power.
A place where your thoughts have power and where the thoughts are deep. The different player characters in your party each had really rich backstories, and you could spend literally hours having conversations with them.
Oh, I'm sure James had hours of conversation with these computer characters because he had perhaps no one else to speak to.
I just didn't have any other friends. It's not true. But I did speak with these characters because they espoused whole philosophies. And if you intelligently responded to
this
their
was the
philosophies...
beginning of the end for James.
If you intelligently responded to their
This
philosophies,
is where it all started.
you could keep the conversation going, not like this
Oh
one,
my
which
God.
keeps getting interrupted. You could keep the conversation going and end up with characters which gain skills and abilities because you understood them better.
This is the model
And it was
upon which you
wonderful.
have based all of your future human interactions, isn't it?
I do believe that you unlock hidden powers within people if you strive to understand them and continually remain in dialogue. And maybe I learnt that from Planescape Torment.
See, you've learned a lot about James in this little expose.
But if you'd like to learn more, send us an email.
Oh my god.
I might be amenable to further interactions.
Let's try not to be arrested for prostitution.
I didn't say
Let's
anything about
try.
people paying me.
Oh.
Or are you suggesting I would pay them? You're so harsh. Cora, I think you better talk about your favourite gaming world, because otherwise I'm going to slap you in that grinning face.
See, you couldn't. But, sure.
I couldn't mar something so perfect.
It's true. It's a work of art. But the game, the universe I actually would most enjoy gallivanting around would be the Mass Effect universe.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, despite having a story that was sidetracked a lot in the second game and sort of grew too big for its ability to actually wrap things up well and was a little too ambitious, what it did do in, opening the scope of itself too wide is make a marvelous universe. It's really cool. It's in the future, spacefaring times, think Star Trek-esque. And the one thing I'll say that I don't like is it has like the relics of a lost civilization thing hanging around, which I think is just kind of lame and overdone. But the one thing it did do is it explained how they have faster than light travel, which is pretty cool. They basically just had like teleportation
Big Stargates.
Basically,
Big old
yeah,
Stargates.
Big Stargates, but it has to do with the Mass Effect and changing your manipulating gravity and whatnot.
Magic.
Yeah. It's magic.
Magic spells.
It's magic with an interesting explanation. But anyway, it has this really interesting developed society where all these aliens have converged on this sort of locus of this transportation hub. And
The Citadel.
And they're all interacting, and they really sort of fleshed out, rudimentary workable societies for all these different types of aliens, and they explored, how different cultures and different environments and different religions and just even most interesting, different physiologies would change how these aliens actually interact with each other, and then also other aliens. There are entire species that sort of get fleshed out that never have any plot significance, and they're just there because somebody writing for Mass Effect had a lot of free time, or
It's interesting
really
you should
into
mention
it.
religions, because it's one of the few games that actually occasionally
It has
brings up an explicitly religious
yeah,
element.
they have an explicitly theocratic species, the Hanar.
The flying...
The jellyfish.
Flying jellyfish.
The jellyfish.
Who actually, there's a side quest, isn't there?
Yes.
Where you have to interact with a prophet
Right.
who's kind of is preaching on the sidewalk
Well,
in the Citadel.
he's been corrupted, unfortunately, but
Spoiler alert.
it's not a spoiler. It's not plot relevant at all. But anyway, yeah. So I just thought that was really cool, and I think it's another one of those games where they sort of compile an encyclopedia of important terms and things for you to read if you had time to kill. And it shows a dedication and a depth to the universe that I always enjoy. I was thinking that was definitely when I really liked it, but I was also considering Assassin's Creed, but that's kind of cheating because they just use historical settings. And in there's also an extreme attention to detail that I really appreciate. So it's the internal consistency and depth that really catches my attention in these places. So I could actually imagine in having things to do in that world, and of course, being in the future, there's so much technology. What's not to love?
Future is cool.
Yeah.
So if you want to find us when we're in the worlds of our imagination, you can find Corey in the Mass Effect universe.
I'll just be looking in a mirror.
And that's what you do anyway. I will send you to a universe that doesn't have mirrors.
It's alright.
If you know what I mean.
I know what I look like.
Well, you know what you think you look like. And I will be
It's true, I'm humble,
hanging
I don't
around the
know.
plains, traveling the plains, and
I don't know how to
exploring
look
the
at it.
power of thought and ideas. We are the Gay Gods of Gaming. This has been our eighth happy
Eighth
ending.
episode,
Can you
yeah.
believe it? And you
Surprising.
can follow us on Twitter at @GayGamingGods. You can find us on Facebook. Facebook group is Gay Gods of Gaming. Please like us there. Go to gaygodsofgaming.com to view all the podcasts and videos that we have made. And please, someone, send us more fan mail.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
love it.
if you get in early on the ground floor, there's a chance you might actually be able to interact with us, and it's clearly what you actually want.
Right, real interaction is on the table.
Real human interaction, unlike the Planescape experience James has had.
I consider those characters real humans.
This explains a lot.
Don't you tell me they're not. It's real, Corey!
I I hope nobody ever introduces you to Twilight. And with that,
People say I glitter like a vampire. That's enough. Let's end this recording. It's gone.